Hey guys, I'm Ronnie and today I'm going to teach you how to play the fill in the song First Date by Blink-182, and it goes like this. This is one of Travis Barker's most iconic drum parts, but the key to it is the speed he plays it. Let's break this fill down and look at the best way to learn it. The first part of this fill is really simple and it goes like this. So first you're playing your right hand on the crash cymbal and your left hand on the snare, and you're playing them together at the same time like this. And then straight after that you're hitting the kick drum. You're just repeating that. And then he starts the rest of the fill after that. Let's practice that part with a click. So you really want to make sure each of the notes are evenly separated between each other, because then it will sound nice and smooth. Let's move on to the main part of the fill. So this main part of the fill is mainly just a single stroke roll, but it's almost played like a bit of a gallop, especially on the first part. So let's look at what's going on here. It's basically just right, left, right. When you speed it up, it sounds a bit like a horse gallop. So let's practice it with a metronome, and we'll stay on this one drum, the snare drum. So make sure you get that part up to a reasonable speed first. So what I would do, I would just loop it over and over again with the metronome, and if you need to, do 5 minutes every day until you gradually can speed it up and get it up to the tempo required for this fill. Okay, now we've just got the gallop part right, we're going to now split this fill into two parts and really look at what's going on. So the first part sounds like this. So basically it starts with the gallop that we just learnt, but all it's doing is you're adding two right hands on the end of it. What happens is your right hand actually moves onto the first tom. Right, left, right, right, right. Let's now put on a metronome and loop part 1. So once we've got that part down, the next part is literally just a single stroke roll, but we're moving it around the drum kit. But first I'll show you on the snare how it goes. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Make sure you can play it nice and smoothly on one drum first, and now I'll show you how to move it around the drum kit. So basically what's going on here is we're doing 2 on each drum, so it's still a single stroke roll, right left on the snare, right left on the tom 1, and then you come back to the snare and you go right left again, and then right left on tom 1 again, and then right left on the floor tom. Now let's practice part 2 with the metronome. I would recommend looping it over and over again with a metronome and practice it for at least 5 minutes every day until eventually it comes up to speed and you can play it at the tempo required for the song. But you have to be patient with yourself. So you don't want to be jumping ahead too early and think that, okay, I kind of got it and let's push myself, and you're playing it wrong. So you don't want it to sound like this. You want it to be nice and smooth and there to be evenly spaced notes between each hit. So when you speed it up, it sounds still really good and smooth. Okay, now we know part 1 and part 2. Let's put the two together. Okay, now let's put it with the metronome. Notice that time when I practiced it with a metronome, I left a little space after I'd finished playing the pattern once, but I still looped it just with a little gap in the middle. The reason why I did that is because when you move over to your right hand on the floor tom, you want to move your right hand real quickly to the snare drum, but because you've just finished playing the floor tom, it could be a little bit hard to do that, and you sometimes will knock your stick. So if I try and play it fast like this but repeated with no gap, you will struggle to do it. See what I mean? So that's why when I practice it slow, I leave a little gap there. Okay, now we know part 1 and 2 and we can play them together. Let's add in that first intro part. Okay, well that is pretty much the whole fill. What I would do is I'd practice that last bit with a metronome as well, so it's all nice and evenly spaced together and in time. Okay, this time I'm going to count the spaces in between so you can understand how much of a gap I'm leaving with the click track. One, two, three, four. 2, 3, 4. Two, 3, 4. Just remember, when you finish the fill, you're always hitting the crash with a kick drum, and that is actually the 1 on the start of the next beat. So when I say 1, 2, 3, 4, that's because that crash at the end of the fill with the kick is the 1 of the next beat. So that's how I would practice the whole fill until you get it up to speed. I would do it for 5 minutes every day. Monitor yourself, make sure you're playing it nice and smoothly, even record yourself if you need to, and just make sure that it's really nice and even and you're not too tensed up. So you want to be really relaxed when you're doing it, and then gradually over time you'll be able to play it faster. But don't rush it, because if you do rush it, it won't be played as cleanly as it could be. So if you notice you're not playing it correctly, you must be patient with yourself and go back to the start and just readdress the whole thing and find out where you're struggling, and maybe just loop that one part that you're struggling, whether it's part 1, part 2, or even the intro. Just loop that one part until you get it right. Okay, once you've learned that, the next thing is obviously to learn the beat, which we're not going to do in this lesson. But if you would like to learn the beat, please let me know in the comments, and I will make a full video on how to play all the different beats and the parts in the song. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. Good luck practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.